So sitting next to you, or sitting behind you or front, so sitting next to you, you might be sitting next to a black devil.
It states in Psalms chapter 82 verse 6, I have said ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High.
This is the Elder Raziel with a message for the children of the Elohim. I walked a long journey on the short path where after this non-mind, this mind expands math itself. Came through with the master teacher. Get wealth from what I have to teach you. Not a preacher, the Anunnaki created this creature, fully packed with features. Nuwabu knocking off leeches. Peace to Malachi, Ziyor, Noble Jew Ali, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Respect and pay homage from the NUWABIANS tribe. We hope to see you. We still kicking the flows. All the girls know. Just list the show so your mind grows toward a genetic explosion. X out whoever was chosen by deception to sell out Negro, the greatest destruction. Without question, knowledge is a weapon. Like Cain, ain't no half stepping to a greater direction.
I wanna talk to y'all real quick, you know what I'm saying? Get personal and shit. Hard to play, family man. Hard to play. When you don't even know where the family stand. Too many egos, too many voices that ain't reaching out to people. I'm at 64. I mean real blood. Pops ain't home, but if he still was, minus the allegations. I wish I knew if it was really true or fabrication. Some of your kids think you did it, got me looking at you strange. Like would they be the same if they ain't grow with the pain? I mean 200 kids you couldn't find a time for. Do you regret not making time for us? Still screaming free you. Unanswered questions got me wanting to go see you. I'm sure you was dealing with pressure just trying to be you. Heard your own son ratted on you to them peoples. That's nasty. Even if you did it, the thought would've never passed me. That's if you asked me. Everybody out for self. Quicker to go to friends before I ask family for help. I'm tired of people asking me why Jacob don't help. I don't know. Damn. It feel like we drowning in quicksand. They throw more salt, I'm thinking they reaching for my hands. 500 acres, Egyptian theme on the land. Way too much power and to be a black man.
I'm talking to the Anunnaki. If it's with me, I'm talking with Inky. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm dealing with Inky because I know who Inky is. I know who Inky's family is. I know who Intel is, and I knew it. And I know when the Holy Tablets was coming, I know who was there and what it was talking to. Right. I knew behind the face of Anu, there was a force that goes back further than that, 9 dimensions. But everything was not for the mortal ear at the time. Right. That's why in Christianity they use the word faith. You know, or in Islam they use the word mu'min or iman, faith. But when it comes down to with Nuwabian, they say, listen, Nuwabian, let me teach you about Anu and Inky. They want me to make God manifest for us so we will believe. That sounds very familiar, right? Yeah. They want everything. They don't want to put any trust in their leaders or their teachers. They want me to put everything on. Had I gave them everything the way it was coming to me, the devil would have put all the trust in you. Shapeshifters with a long time saw where I was going and nipped it off. I had to put out sporadic. I had to jump from place to place. I had to jump from name to name. I had to jump from religion. And in each one, every time I gave you a little something more. Right. About the whole big picture, which we now come down and put. Now you're going to start seeing the whole picture come together as one thing, and you're going to see everything from day one, from the day one, from the day.
That was the miracle from the master teacher, that he came to give us the knowledge of self. Know thyself, from Kemet. And I heard somebody say, oh, Kemet is a Greek word. It's actually not a Greek word. It's not a Greek word. It is a Tamarian word. So, if you agree with me on that, let's have an applause. And let's sound the alarm. Because there is an emergency going on in the so-called black culture. Now, I pretty much distanced myself from the black culture when I moved on to the land here for the nation. So I'm pretty much away from all the bull crap. I watch it like on YouTube. It's pretty appalling that we're letting CAUCASOIDS raise so-called black children. Now, Nuwabians should know better to get involved with these ratchet things, but I see y'all getting involved with that too. So, and that's pretty sad, you know, in itself. So, as we can see on the screen here, it is I think it's year 84. Yeah, year 84, the month of AMUN, which is the third month. Last week, it's actually Laqah. We gotta update this from Arba to Laqah, because Arba is Arabic, Arabiyat. So, fourth week, second day of Antum, right? So, today, I'm not going to read the 9-ball today, but I may do the show later on this evening or tomorrow morning to have it out. I try to have shows out every Thursday, you know, with my busy schedule and everything. I try to do the best I can, but we're not going to stop the show, never. So it's important to show Negroes, or, you know, even your Egyptologists and all these Moorish folks out here, that you got to stay consistent with this stuff. Don't matter if one person watch or a billion people watch, you got to stay consistent. I've seen a bunch of like radio shows here and there fade away, and I'm like, oh, how come nobody can stay consistent, at least with, you know, Nuwabian news? The sellout is always the problem. Someone who wants to make a little noise for a little bit and then disappear and go back to whatever life they're living, because they're not living a stable life. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to have a job, have businesses going, do the land like what I'm doing, and do this. So I do it when I can, but we don't quit, because it's all about consistency. Whatever you do in life, it's all about consistency. You know what I mean? So if you don't have any consistency in your life, you're probably never going to accomplish anything, because you got to stick with it. You may have to modify it a little bit, your goals, you know what I mean, to match your vision, but you always stay consistent, right? Like if I have a goal to go to college, not go to college, I have a goal to start this company, and I want to make $500,000 a year. Well, first, you know, what is a company? You know, what product am I gonna sell? And that all, you gotta plan all that stuff out before you actually start to execute, because you ain't gonna know where you're going. How you gonna get there if you don't have a plan and a roadmap with milestones and parts that you're supposed to accomplish before you get to your final goal and you cross that finish line? You know, Dr. York actually has an audio about, you know, people who are successful versus people who are not successful. And it's a mind state, and it's patience, man. You got to have patience with yourself. There's too many Nuwabians. I can't address what black people do because I don't know what black people do. You know, just the stuff I see on TV. My day consists of, you know, studying Arabic, being a good Muslim, being a good Nuwabian on the national side, talking to my Thai fiance that's in Thailand. And they say, oh, well, how come we don't find a black woman to marry? No. And after the video I'm gonna show you today, you're gonna know exactly why I say no. And plus, I didn't really grow up in a black neighborhood. I grew up in a multicultural neighborhood in California. A lot of Chinese, a lot of Filipinas, a lot of Koreans, Caucasians, Mexican, and there were black people there too, in Walnut, California. And Walnut, California is not a cheap place to live. So my dad was always like, well, we got to get away from niggas. My dad was like, we got to get away from niggas. So, but we used to go back to Compton, because my dad's from Compton. My grandparents, like half of my family's from Compton, /LA. No, actually just Compton, not LA, Compton. So Compton's a very beautiful town. I know it gets a bad rap because of, you know, the blood and Crip stuff, and then Eazy-E putting out You know, but Compton's actually a good-looking town, even to this day. People got front yards, backyards, work $100,000 jobs, drive. Suge Knight's parents were wealthy. They had money. That's why they could afford to send him to UNLV. Well, I think he got a scholarship for football. But still, if you looked at the house he grew up in, it's not poor. There's one set of projects in Compton, or I think there's one set, and that was when Training Day. You know, Denzel went with that fake warrant to the singers. I forgot the singer woman, but she played a role in this movie, and he went in there trying to look for some drugs because he was a filthy cop. And she said, that ain't no warrant. The dudes from the Blue Projects came out. That's the only projects in Compton. So don't let the media and everybody give Compton a bad rap. Compton's actually a cool town if you're messing with the right people. Now, if you're trying to get into the gangbang stuff, then your ass is in trouble. Okay. So we went over the day and time in my rant about the so-called black culture. Now, this video right here, this is a good YouTube channel. I actually like it. It's called Lex Art Studios. He talks about white supremacy, which we all know white supremacy does not exist. But he talks about it in a way, and he actually criticizes the black community because you got stuff like this here. Look at this. So actually we're going to pause the music and we're going to take a look at this because I think this is very important, because this is very embarrassing to so-called black culture. Now, as Nuwabians, we know better. We know not to do this. The Natioro doesn't. We stay away from this. This is very, to me, it's satanic. When you look at these two females on the ground being pulled like dogs by this probably some black guy who was raised by a single mother, right? So as we look at these satanic images, we're gonna figure out about the Caucasian system that produces images like this. And can you blame the Caucasian? And is it all Caucasians? No, it's the ones that are in power. Now, there are some poor Caucasians who are also racist and hateful, so we would all put them in the same category as being Satan's children. But as we look at these images right here, there are things that should not be happening naturally that are happening artificially within the so-called black community or whatever it is. I don't even know. I don't even understand I don't even understand what black is. I tried to ask many people, what does it mean to be a black man? Oh, fighting white supremacy? No. That's what you're fighting. I said your existence. Can you define your existence for me? And I've never gotten a solid. What does it feel like to be a black guy? Is it just oppression? That's it? That you've just been oppressed? So why in the hell would I want to be a black guy then? Why the hell would I want to be, my whole existence is just slavery and being oppressed? Why the hell would I want to be a black guy then? Wouldn't I want to be a Moor? Wouldn't I want to be a Moor? Wouldn't I want to be something more than just a color? And it's funny because here in this small little town where we got the land, there are quite a few Caucasians. And I was at the store the other day and I got into a conversation with a guy named Tim, actually a pretty cool dude. And we were talking for like 2 hours in front of the store. And the military vet comes up. He's a Vietnam vet. I ain't going to say his name. And he said, and he's a Caucasian too. He said, there's no such thing as black and white, guys. Those are colors. He's all, if you look at my arm right now, it's not white. He's this is not the color white. And this is a Caucasian guy saying this. And I've been saying stuff like that, but I'm going to re-echo it. There is no such thing as a black and white person. There's no, and this video's filtered with it. And I see even the title, it says the white narrative. There's no such thing as black and white. They just made it up. And they say, oh, we just made up Nuwabu, but Nuwabu go back to Nuwabia in Sudan. You know what I mean? So, no, we didn't make it up. The master teacher didn't make it up. It comes from an actual real source, except you're a black guy with a Negro dead mindset. And so, oh, he just don't want to be black. You goddamn right we don't want to be black, fool. Duh. When did you wake up and figure that one out? Come on, genius. So let's play this video.
Real Talk TV.
See, I'm looking at the black people as a nation, and all of our problems, you all don't have nothing to solve them.
Can you honestly look at these four?
Now that's the truth right there. That's the truth. Yeah, they don't know how to solve our problems. They not us. We got different creators and everything. They not gonna know how to solve our problems. Neither do they care about solving your problems. They use your problems as political capital for your vote.
4 clips and not see a problem? It's a vicious matriarchal cycle that
Baby
gets
mama.
worse with every
Baby
generation.
mama culture.
But you having access to a man and a woman during your upbringing needs to be brought back.
The patriarchal standard
Absolutely.
is the only orientation that yields the best outcomes for families, communities, and society. Are you worthy of being under a man's umbrella?
Black women love Pookie and Ray Ray. They love the thug. But that is not the majority.
Because the community is suffering. The kids are suffering. And y'all don't want to change it.
We do believe in separation, standing on our own feet among our own kind and solving our own problems. And that's the only way you'll get a solution to the vital race problem in this country.
Welcome back to Real Talk TV, episode number 5. It's time for a quick history lesson. I urge the black nation to do your own due diligence when it comes to American history. You have to know the past to
Look, yeah, I'm all for learning about American history, but you also got to learn your history. It can't just be, oh, we're just going to, oh, it's white guys this and white guys, these magical, demonistic beings that don't exist are controlling our lives. No, it's not that. You need to learn who you are. You're not going to learn yourself through so-called American history. You know how they've put that narration of the telling into a frame where you're not really included in that. So I don't encourage so-called black people to do American history. I advise you to do the history on your own family. See, this, I like this channel, but then I will criticize it because it's still coming from a slave mindset. Oh, black revolutionary, this. You don't have to rebel against this. Their system. They created it. You need to create your own system, which they do talk about here with, because we're not all slaves. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. We were not all slaves. Even the times when the European came over here, we already had acres of land. We had tribes. We had a language. We crossed seas over to Africa. We were doing it already. From the Caribbean to Africa, from the Caribbean to America, there were ship ports. If you read a book called The First Americans Were Africans, which is a misnomer, but it talks about there's evidence of seaports in the Caribbean, like Trinidad. They used to host boats coming from the continent of Nubia, which you guys call Africa. And we were doing trade. Where do you think the Caucasoid learned it from? So we just got to get out of this like self-hatred. I don't like myself. I'm going to try to be an American. What the hell is an American? American is really AKA colonialism, right? We didn't call this land America in our languages. So you need to go back to the origin of self, not the origin of America. Because once you understand the origin of self, or your tribe and your people, where you try to pinpoint to where you exactly came from, then American history, you can just breeze through American history and tell where the racism is, where they're telling the truth, and where the lies come in. If you know your own history, not American history, your history. Let's keep going.
understand the present. We've been lied to about a great many things. History, religion, music, culture, art, you name it. And there's plenty that's been simply left out of the history
they
books.
copied everything we've done.
You know, back in grade school, high school, and even college, it would have been nice to have learned about these
Now, you look at this map here. You look at Elaine. That's Arkansas. That's Arkansas. Elaine, Arkansas, y'all. There was and also a massacre there too. So not just Tulsa, Oklahoma, but in Elaine. Like I said, we're not all slaves, and this is after slavery, right? Because slavery ended in 1860 something. I don't know exactly when. So all of these dates that he's given here, some of them are like right after slavery, some are like 50, 60 years, maybe a generation later or 2 generations later. All these towns, these were race riots happened, and you're going to find out most of these were Moorish towns that the Caucasoid would use any excuse to go in there and try to wipe us out, bring military police, try to wipe us out. And you up here saying, I'm an American, I have equal rights, when the history is this? And they'll try to cover this up too. And they try to tell African nations, oh, human rights. This ain't no human rights right here. Unless you're calling yourself, oh, I'm a black guy. Then they got all the right to do this. I know it sounds very harsh. But it's the truth. Now, if they would have said, hey, we're Aniuwea, we're tribal people, we've been here. If that was their claim legally, I bet you half of this wouldn't have happened. Now, some of it would have still happened because we're dealing with satanic Caucasoids. We're dealing with satanic Caucasoids, and all they know how to do is kill and steal information, cover it up, and try to make it look like they came up with it, right? So you're just going to have to be willing to die to defend what's yours. And the Negro really isn't trained to do that like people in the Middle East or people in Africa who will die being who they are. Something is like inherently wrong with black people. They're not willing to give it all to be who they are. They rather be W.E.B. Du Bois or the Black Boule. They rather sell their souls over to the devil in exchange for some notoriety. It's the same thing going on now. You got Puff Daddy just got arrested. I hope y'all heard about that. He got arrested. I heard about it yesterday. So he finally went down for rape, extortion, kidnapping, all that stuff. You know what I mean? So it seems like, and he had to sell, he's in with probably some Caucasians who are promoting this sex, gay, LGBTQ demonistic culture. You know what I mean? He was a promoter of that. I hope he didn't touch Biggie, man. I hope he really didn't. But, inshallah, he did all these things. All right. Then you see like the DMXs who, he's praying to the devil on his album. I've never heard her music, but Sexy Red. Now we have whore rap coming in. Nicki Minaj, that's all whore rap. I've never heard of a Nicki Minaj song in my life. Never. I don't listen to that type of stuff. I'll listen to Nas, AZ, Wu-Tang, good quality hip hop, good music. Anita Baker, Teddy Pendergrass. I have refined taste in music, though. I have very refined taste in music. I know what sounds good and what doesn't. Our youth, we didn't teach them about music, so they don't really know. You know what I mean? So, it is what it is. You got Immature from back in the day. Marcus Houston came out. Them dudes are all having sex with each other. You know what I'm saying? To get into the music industry. Cassie, Puff's ex-girlfriend. I heard Al B. Shore's wife, that Puff might have killed her. You know what I mean? So hopefully it all comes out in this trial. But this is Rihanna has satanic symbolism, Freemasonry in her music, and a lot of music videos. So all this demonistic stuff that we're seeing, and then young black men going to prison, as Crazy Bones said it. You know, Crazy Bones said they had a meeting back in the early 90s about it was about putting more violence into hip hop so it would destroy the mind of young black men, our soldiers, right? So then they would follow the images and the words that they hear in the music. Now, this is coupled along with the single black mother household. So there's no male figure in the house really at all. Then these young kids want to be like Eazy-E and Dr. Dre and MC Ren, right? They go out and they start gang banging, and then they go to prison, and then the private corporations that own the prisons make money off this. So it's deep. It's deep. You know what I mean? Because they want to control your mind, the black mind. Now, they know they can't get a brother like me. They can't. Because I'm willing to die for who I am. I'm not going to fight the whole United States system. I think that's the wrong way to do it. But just like our brothers and sisters back in the day, we need to form our own communities that's prosperous. And we need to protect it. Because in all of these situations, black people did not fight. Maybe in Chicago they fought. Because that's right after World War I. I remember that incident. And maybe brothers in Detroit. You know, there's some tough brothers in Detroit and Chicago. Yeah, they tough out there. So they fought out there. But a lot of these places, brothers didn't even fight back. They just let the white man just slaughter them. Just slaughter them. That's a slave. A slave who won't even fight for what he built. That's a slave. That's truly the marks of a slave. We already know about Rosewood because they made a movie about it. You know, but the Caucasian girl who said a black man raped her because she wanted to make love to a black man. Black man said, no, I'm faithful to my wife. So she went back and told her whole hood that, oh, he raped me. You know what I'm saying? So I think brothers did fight back there. At least they fought, man. At least they fought, and they a martyr. They're a martyr. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I don't promote violence, but you got to defend what you got to defend your family, got to defend your wife, and you have to defend your children. Come on, niggas. Come on, blackies. You got to at least do that. Come on.
Sufficient black communities, as well as Marcus Garvey and the multitudes of black inventors. When it comes to the whitewashing of American history, to put it bluntly, it worked.
I've been robbed.
What do you think whitewashing history, religion, music, and culture does to a society?
Praise white God.
The ultimate result?
That's funny.
Black is bad, white is good. This anti-black white savior pathology is baked in the very subconscious.
Right there, bro. White is good and black is bad. Look at the definition of the words. Why do they think they gave you the term black? Because it already meant something bad. You know what I'm saying? It already meant something bad. Now, the statistics since Elon Musk took over Twitter, it is what it is. That's what the devil does, y'all. Look at the statistics. Against gay men, against Jews, against blacks, 200%. Now, first of all, I wouldn't really trust none of these numbers coming from the New York Times. You know, they're more like liberal crazies. So I don't take my numbers from liberal crazy. But I can imagine the hate speech went up because that is who they are. That is who they are. That's how they establish their colonialism. It wasn't by being nice to so-called blacks, Native Americans, Indians, whatever you're calling yourself. That is not how they took over. They took over by vast amounts of hatred, vast amounts. And if you ever think they're ever going to stop hating you and love you and give up their power, you've lost your mind. You're going to have to earn your nationhood. You know what I mean? You're out of your mind if you think these people are going to give up their power. No, the master teacher says, wait for them to destroy themselves, which will happen. But in the meantime, even if they do destroy themselves, you're still not going to know how to run things. You haven't gained the skills and the know-how to know how to run something. You've never been in a leadership position. You've never managed or led other men. So even if they do fall, you're not going to know what to do. You're going to have frauds out here like Patricia Lewis and young elder leading people. Come on.
Conscious of America. This system has failed us, and it continues to fail us. Today's black nation is but a shadow of its former self-sufficient self. We are a nation that's currently at crucial levels when it comes to relationships, communities, and self-reliance. We need to be honest on how this came to be. Let's go through a few crucial historical highlights that brought the black nation to this current state. History is a great teacher, but it comes at a cost. You must pay attention. America claims that all men are created equal and have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Hypocrisy. Right.
Let's test that theory.
And Oklahoma is a unique space in terms of the number of African American towns that were established. Some suggest upwards of 50 African American towns between 1924 and 1928. Reverend S.S. Jones was going around documenting this sort of self-determined, vibrant African American communities. You see,
between 1860.
So we were doing it. Like I said before, we were doing it. You know what I mean? Whatever we called ourselves, we didn't call ourselves African Americans back then, but whatever. They keep changing the term. You're an Indian, then you're a Negro, then you're a colored person, then you're a nigger, then you're a black porch monkey. Now you're an African American. All these terms don't make no damn sense at all, and I don't identify with none of them except Nuwabian Moor. That's what I identify with. I don't go by their terms, and that's their language that they don't even speak well. It's mixed up with Latin, and they speak some kind of Creole English, and then they want to say, oh, black people speak a Creole, or what is it called? Ebonics, which is some kind of pidgin Creole. I'm like, no. You brought that. Don't try to make black people, well, black people have to fend for themselves, but don't try to make a certain set of people seem like they're stupid. They can't speak in English properly because you're the one who brought the bad English. Check out Thomas Sowell. You're the one that all Ebonics, what you're calling Ebonics, or these Caucasoid wannabe slave masters still in academia. No. You brought that from England. So, I guess Caucasoids also speak Ebonics because we learned it from you, right? And anyway, the only pure English is Old English anyway, so let's go.
1956 and 1920s, the black nation managed to acquire over 20 million acres of land. As a segregated nation, we had the greatest economic achievement in this country by establishing countless self-sufficient towns, neighborhoods, and cities all throughout America.
They're calling it the black nation. No, there was no black nation. There's never was there a black nation. I hate to tell you that, because as you've seen back in the previous image, they're flying an American flag. So right there, that's not a black nation, right? You'd have to fly your own flag, right? A good example is to look at the brothers in Mali, Burkina Faso, and not Chad. I forgot. But anyway, they kicked America and the French out of there. Kicked them out, y'all. The last 2 years, they kicked them all out. Mali said French is no longer the national language. You're going back to speaking one of our indigenous languages. You know what I'm saying? And that's what needs to happen in America. But that will not happen in America. It will not happen in America. For the simple fact that the most indigenous people here are calling themselves black. And they really think there's a black nation. There is no such thing as a black nation. No such thing. If you want to form a nation, you need to study the ways of your forefathers, like Brother Noble Drew Ali said, so you can form a proper nation with the proper traditions, proper dress, proper language, proper ceremony. A nation got all that. Black people don't have that. Their ceremonies are modeled after the slave master. So again, I just want to emphasize there is no black nation. Slaves cannot form a nation. Even in you look at Haiti now, right? They overthrew Haiti. Haiti been having issues for 100 years. Over 100 years. For over 100 years, they've always been economically poor because they don't know who they are. They're still speaking French. They still have French names. And when gangbangers run the country, you know you're in trouble. You know you're in trouble when gangbangers run the country in Haiti. All right, let's go.
But around 1920s to 1950s, the black nation lost all of it, due to countless race riots, race massacres, and even government policies that ran the interstate highway system through their communities.
But if we had a black nation, that wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen. We just never formed a nation, so we couldn't ally with other nations, you know, to help protect us. So what do you think they do in Africa? You know, when I was talking about Burkina Faso, they linked up with Russia. They linked up with Morocco to provide gas. They linked up with China. You know, the enemy of your enemy is my friend. That's what they did. You know, they linked up with America's competition to start supplying the infrastructure in Burkina Faso. You know, because the French in America were just keeping them poor. You know, which is national strategy for American, you know, and these European CAUCASOIDS. So if this was a real nation, the white boys couldn't have came. I'm sorry, the CAUCASOIDS couldn't have came in there and just took everything. But since it's their nation, they can do that, especially back then. So let's keep going.
The government and banks team up to redline you into ghettos while denying you loans to own businesses and property. Then the government sends drugs and weapons into an already impoverished community, as well as incentivizes single motherhood to kick out the fathers so the women can receive welfare and Section 8 housing.
Mass incarceration, police brutality, and ongoing racial profiling continues to persist within America, with little to no justice of accountability in sight.
The music industry makes an effort to guardrail a narrative that celebrates the hardships of living in poverty. They hire men from...
Oh yeah, and don't forget Ice Cube is a big sellout. Drake is a big sellout too. That's why I don't really support their music anymore. You know what I mean? And as black people, the biggest perpetrators are killing their own people. You got to remember the black sellout. That's why I say in the song, the sellout Negroes, the greatest destruction without question. You know, back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, yes, they did have massacres with the Caucasoid played his card. So we could all see it was Caucasoids that came to slaughter so-called Moors, right? But then now they want to see, now to rule the nation, they got to have peace. They can't go at it like they did back in the day, like they did there, because no one would come to America. The immigrants wouldn't come if they were just slaughtering people, you know, because the Caucasoid is basically an animal. He just slaughters, right? So the smartest of his people, which really aren't too smart, but the smart of his people said, hey, we gotta calm down on the violence, because we got Chinese immigrants coming out, Filipino immigrants, Mexican immigrants, and we need them to work. You know what I mean? If we just slaughter them, they ain't gonna work. So we gotta calm down the violence. Excuse me. So So now they're going to try to cover up this history. You know what I'm saying? What they did. They're going to try to cover it up. The eugenics, they still push the theory of evolution, which is based on eugenics, was eugenics is a racist science to put Caucasoids in the superior race and everybody else below them, when they have the least amount of accomplishments as a racial society, you know. So, excuse me, got gas or something, but inshallah. So when we talk about these issues, it's very important. We don't look at just the victimhood, right? Because every race has been enslaved. The Chinese have been enslaved. The Japanese have been enslaved. The Russians have been enslaved. The Germans have been enslaved. The English were enslaved. Moors were enslaved, so-called black people. Everybody at one time has been enslaved. Now, why the Negro thinks he's the only one ever to be enslaved is because of indoctrination by the Caucasoid. See, I got average grades in school because I was pretty, even though I was in a multicultural neighborhood, I grew up, you know, as my upbringing in that type of neighborhood, I seen everybody else had their culture. And I had Malcolm X hats on, everything, you know what I mean? I wouldn't wear like that every day, but after Roots pissed me off. Roots pissed me off, you know what I mean? And that's when I begin to realize this whole racial thing. And it's not just Caucasians, man, that are racist. Asians are racist. I'm telling you from experience, the khibrati, my experience, I'm telling you, Asians are racist, Filipinos are racist. We already know Caucasians are racist. Mexicans are racist. I've heard it from everybody. Now, I'm friends with all these people too. I grew up with all of them. I ain't gonna say no names, but I grew up with all of them. I'm not saying every individual in these nationalities or races are racist or hateful, but I'm saying everybody has some racism in their nation, and Hindus are highly racist. Highly racist, bro. Africans are racist. Because there was a couple Africans who had money who lived in Walnut. Yes. I'm not saying that you can't get along with these people. People are just racist. They're going to say racist stuff, especially when you're younger. So I would start to develop thick skin for the Negro, who has no race, because Negro is not even a race. It's just a slave label. And if you don't like what I'm saying, prove me wrong.
From those broken homes to glorify the very subculture his community was put in. Then they give him money, fame, and a voice to spread his message through mass media. He becomes a celebrity to his own broken community. Women want to be with him, and men want to be just like him. Thus the subculture of broken homes and relationships not only gets reinforced, but it becomes the norm.
Just so we're clear, we went from this.
You see the African American educators, doctors, lawyers, landowners, oil barons, and I think that's what's so remarkable about this footage. To think that individuals, how many years out of slavery, are now owning oil wells that are producing 2,000 barrels a day. Is that not the ultimate American dream? Is that not the ultimate American story?
Gotta stop this American crap. Because if you say America, Caucasian own it. Caucasian owns it, man. I'm just telling you, he owns it. He owns it. If you say American, he owns it. Because who runs America? Who created America? It was the Caucasian. We didn't create America. You only own what you create. Right? You only, and you're a 14th Amendment black colored person. They may take your stuff even if you legally got it. I'm not saying don't legally obtain things, but I'm just letting you know what can happen if you don't set up your own communities based on your own culture, which is legal. But I think And she's saying, oh, we had our oil. That was a blip of time. We can't go, oh my God, we had it at one point. That's cool, but if you're not willing to die to defend it, then it's almost like you shouldn't even have tried. You shouldn't even have tried to attain it. Now, I'm not saying that the brothers and sisters back then, we were going through hell, right? So it was good that we started to do businesses, but it's the culture that keeps the businesses going from generation to generation. Since black people have no culture, and you'll hear videos, you type it in, you'll hear like Jamaicans, Trinidadians, people from Africa, even people from South America, brothers and sisters and Moors down there, come to America and say black people have no culture. None. No culture. So it's not just me saying this, and it's not just the Caucasians saying this. It's your same racial group is saying this about your nationality, that you don't have a nationality, you have no culture. You know what I mean? There's no culture there. You have nothing to teach your children. And then you wonder why the women in these days and times are whores and sluts. They're having multiple babies. They think it's cool to be a single mother. And that stuff been going on since the 80s. That stuff been going on since the 80s. So, being on welfare is cool. Growing up in the projects is awesome. I'm like, how the hell did the Caucasoid pull that on you? You know what I'm saying? That's the spell. And if you've been watching my show long enough, the word spell, if you look it up in an old English dictionary, the Bosworth, it means narrative. What I'm telling you is a spell. I got you. The way I control the schools and the story that I'm giving to you niggas comes from a British, Caucasian, colonist perspective. Let's stop calling them white. Because if you say white, then you don't know who to pinpoint. You don't know what nation to go to the pinpoint, and the names of their fathers, their grandfathers, their great-grandfathers, to blame it on them. Some black people know this as far as in this country. You know what I'm saying? But stop saying white, because in white, who do you put the blame on specifically? You don't know. Stephen Coakley said that. He said, stop saying Jew and white. You need names. You need names. Right? So this whole black and white thing, I think once your brain gets past that, calling people blacks and whites and yellows and purples and rainbows and oranges, where the orange people at? What about brown? Because my skin is brown. Where the brown people at? You know what I'm saying? Where the brown people at? They say Hispanic is brown, but I'm not Hispanic, so they're wrong on that too then. All we're doing is putting together the facts and we're asking questions, because that's the only way to unravel the mystery, right? So they've created some type of make-believe life, right, when they came to this country to make themselves superior. But again, they took their culture from us, having Mohawks. Now think about their genetic preposition. Their hair lays flat. It's flat. It don't stand up straight. So how in the hell can a Caucasoid have a mohawk? Only black people can have, or Moors can have mohawks, man. They took that stuff from cowboys. Look, before they came over here, let's go back to Europe in the 1400s. When the hell did they have a cowboy in England? I'll wait. I'll leave the comment section open. I'll wait. There were no cowboys in Europe, bro. They didn't find that out till they came here. They tried to take your identity. You know what I'm saying? Now, there was a cowboy movie that showed some cowboys out of New York in 1780. When Big Daddy Kane was in a movie, Mario Van Peebles is in it. I can't remember. It was a great movie. Matter of fact, I'm going to watch it again because I just thought about it. We are the cowboys. We are the cowboys. And Dr. York was trying to tell y'all that. Stop giving up your culture. Stop letting people rob you of the riches of your existence and your forefathers. That was us. not them. All they have is hate. That's their culture. That's their religion, is hate. That's why they're so good at it. They pray to they pray to the eagle, hating eagle. What is that in California? They go there and they pray to an eagle, an owl, and they howl at the owl because they're evil, bro. They're evil. All right, let's keep going.
To this.
Don't get me wrong, I like being a side chick because I don't gotta deal with all that bullshit. Just screw me and go. You gotta keep me happy so I don't tell your girlfriend. So
where's your dad? Where's your mom? Where is your family?
You gonna buy me that Birkin bag? You gonna give me that Birkin bag? Don't get me wrong. You can go home to your plan. You can leave here.
So you don't mind being a side chick?
I don't. What? You can go.
Damn, she got robbed. Oh, they both got robbed.
Does it look like Black America's in a crisis? Right. $2 billion on Air Jordans every year. You're right. $4 billion on liquor, $30 billion on hair and beauty, nearly $1 billion on chicken, turkey, beef, and pork, multiple billion on video games, multiple million on children's cologne.
What did it cost?
But half the black boys in America in 4th grade can't read on their grade level.
That's a fact. Now, we went over a video. No. All children, it's not even just black children. The American school system was purposely made to fail because if they had an excellent education, if they're educating the children correctly of all colors, it might have started off with trying to deform the black child's mind, but now it's everybody. If you send your kid to an American school system, just know you're getting some of the worst education in the world. Worse than Mexico, probably worse than El Salvador, worse than in small African villages. That's why small African children could speak like 10 languages. But you're telling me in America, they can't even speak English correctly. And that's supposed to be the primary language. So if the Negro was hoping that his Caucasoid slave master was going to help him get up in society, no, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And this is why the United Nuwabian Nations is here. That's why we got land, and we're going to try to, no, we're not going to try. We're going to build these schools. You know what I'm saying? But this is, it's just appalling for the black community. Even if you try to separate yourself and, oh, I'm a middle class. I went to college. You got the same culture as these niggas in the ghetto. You're black. Guys are both black. There is no separation. Because the white man, he'll look at one of the corporate meetings and say, oh, look at these dumb black people. You're black. How do you feel about this? Trust me, I worked in corporate America for 12 years. So, yes, they will start to look at you as the same thing that they see on YouTube. People are like, oh, you're black. But if I say, oh, I'm a Nuwabian, I got these symbols, I speak the Nuwabic language. Oh, so you're not like these niggas. Oh, no. Though I believe in, human rights and you guys shouldn't be doing this to black people. No, we do not identify ourselves with black. But we wouldn't do the things that you're doing to black people. No, we Nuwabians wouldn't do that, But this is the way the world is. This is the images that you're putting out. Images are very powerful. As the master teacher used to always use images that uplift us, in the children's coloring books or in our religious scripture. It was all for us, as Nuwabians, as a new nation of people. All right, let's go.
Half the black boys in America in 8th grade can't read on their grade level. But we spending $21 million on cologne.
They can't even read at a 3rd grade level in 8th grade. It's much worse than that, Dr. Umar Johnson.
We have to look in the mirror too.
Call yourself an entertainer?
No, ma'am. I want you to come over here, and I want you to read these lyrics to Dorothy Dandridge. Go ahead, read those to her.
Oh, man. It would be embarrassing.
Read them to her.
Pop my butt.
Okay, so we all know Dorothy. Well, some brothers and sisters may not know Dorothy Dandridge, but she was an actor in the 50s, and this sister was gorgeous. She was fine, Dorothy Dandridge, and just a classy lady. Yeah, she's a morena, classy lady. And so this woman, I forgot, was that Gladys Knight? I think it was Gladys Knight talking to this young girl. She said, now read those horror lyrics to the picture of Dorothy Dandridge, and we'll see if, is that going to work? Would Dorothy Dandridge respect you as a woman to woman? Woman to woman. But, would she respect you as a woman if you read those lyrics to her back then?
Butt, pop my butt. Pop my butt, pop my butt.
Do you know what pop my butt meant to Harriet Tubman? Do you know what that meant? It meant a whip.
Maybe she want to get whipped.
Meant a whip to her. Rosa Parks sat on the bus. Read that to her. Go ahead.
Everything I want, I have.
Really?
Everything I want, I have.
You know what she wanted? A seat on the damn bus.
Sit down, she was tired.
Yeah, and you sing that. And what are you talking about? Go ahead, tell her what you're talking about when you say it.
But I turn up where I'm at, cause I'm a frost bitch, I'm a frost bitch. I pay the cost to be the boss bitch.
Oh, you telling Sojourner Truth you the boss bitch? Really?
Look at the shit I spoke about, look at this.
Oh, yeah, no, I got no love for this ratchet Louisiana nigga. NBA YoungBoy, now he understands what the lyrics of his music have destroyed or is helping to destroy communities. But he done already made his money. He'll probably lose it too because he's a nigga. He gonna lose his money. So now he wants to attempt to be a man of some sort. I really don't know. I don't understand blacks or black culture. So I don't know what's happening here. Like genuinely, I don't know what's happening. But I know he feels regret for the music that he put out.
I put in these people's ears.
Apology not accepted. That damage is irreversible, and those individuals that lost their life to drugs or violence can't get it back. Fuck you. I have no idea why people sell their soul and then think that they can come to us with a pseudo apology after they've gained wealth and we've gained death. Now you on the other side of those millions, you want to act like you hear us. Well, guess what? Just like you couldn't hear us then, we can't hear you now. You want to apologize to us, give up all of your wealth to the black sons that you have molded the minds of into a path of destruction, and then we'll think about forgiveness. Otherwise, your pseudo-realization of the fact that you wrought so much destruction don't mean shit. If you can't give up all the money that you got so attached to, you can go ahead and complete your sacrifice. And to complete your sacrifice means to go ahead and die by the very hands of the people that you jumped in bed with to make all this money.
That's right. All those white devils that got you to, kill each other, that hate your own guts. They hate your family's guts. They hate your children's guts simply because they look like you. Right? So I'm going to end this video. I think I got my point across here. I'm also, this book, we call it the Holy Tabernacle Family Guide for Nuwabians. Even though it says the Holy Tabernacle is actually meant for the whole nation, because our symbol, that's the national symbol right there. So, look, we're going to end the show right there. This is, for so-called black people, this is their reality. Even if you're a college-educated black, even if this make Martin Luther King look bad, anybody connected to the black identity, this makes all you guys look bad. Make Francis Cress Welsing look bad. It don't make the Tamarinians look bad from Egypt because they never called themselves black, never called themselves niggas and coloreds, so they're not connected to this. Only people who call themselves black are connected to this degeneracy here, right? Which we all used to call ourselves black until we heard Noble Drew Ali, Dr. York, right? That's just not the word to use. Spiritually, it's not a good word to use because of its meaning, and that's why they got mad at Moors for enslaving them, right? This is why we get all the backlash from CAUCASOIDS, because we enslaved them, you know what I mean? So, and we can go over that because there's a brother named something Bay who wrote a whole book on it using excellent references, and his paperwork is on point. And I will present that on this show too, because we don't want nothing but facts on this show. You know what I mean? So this is very important. The Family Guide, we will have a series on this too, because this book is really needed in this day and time, even for Nuwabians, for blacks, coloreds, Negroes, porch monkeys, whatever you're calling yourself today, or Sabians. Sabians really need this book because they're operating off of a base of jealousy and hatred, and this may bring them back into the fold. I don't know, because sometimes when the mind is too far gone, there ain't no coaching them back. There's no coaching them back. So I agree with the brother right here that, you know, your NBA young boys, who's the dude? King Von, that dude was insane. He needed to die. Yeah, he needed to die. The world didn't need these, you know, and they're all raised by single mothers. I didn't even know this dude is in diapers right here. Y'all see that? He in diapers. This grown ass man is wearing a diaper. Hey, this is black culture. Wadu.
Or sitting behind you or front, or sitting next to you. You might be sitting next to a black devil.
It states in Psalm chapter 82, verse 6, I have said ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High.
This is the Elder Raziel with a message for the children of the Elohim. I walked a long journey on the short path, grafted this non-mind, this mind expands math itself. Came through with the master teacher. Get wealth from what I have to teach you. Now the preacher, the Anunnaki created this creature, fully packed with features. Nuwabu, knocking off leeches. Peace to Malachi, Ziyor, Noble Ali, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, respect and pay homage. From the Nuwabian tribe, we hope to see you. We still kicking the flows, all the girls know. Just list the show so your mind grows toward a genetic explosion. X out whoever was chosen by deception. The sell-out Negro, the greatest destruction. Without question, knowledge is a weapon. Like Cain, ain't no half-stepping to a greater direction.